Hi, Alvin here, and thank you for watching episode 24 of the 3-Minute Health Tip. Now in this episode, I'm going to discuss one of the challenges that a lot of people face when they're dealing with some health issues, and that comes down to decisions regarding treatment recommendations. Now, I know that a lot of people are bombarded with a lot of information, and depending on the number of practitioners that you're seeing, you're often given option A for treatment or option B, and it becomes a very difficult decision. And so I've created what I call really a decision-making protocol that can be applied to this type of decision regarding treatment options, or really to any decision that you're faced in your life, whether it's relationship decisions, career decisions, or just decisions of whether you should buy a house or not buy that house. I've broken it down really to 2 steps and maybe 3. The first step is neutralizing the pros and cons. When you're faced with treatment options, option A or option B, to help you with your symptoms, a lot of times that you have a personal sort of agenda that you prefer, let's say option A to option B. If you have that internal agenda, then it's going to skew your perspective of the validity of both treatment options. That if you just came down with a typical pros and cons list, because you like option A, you're going to find more pros to choosing option A versus option B. The first step in this decision-making protocol is to neutralize the pros and cons of both decisions. So what does that mean? I need you now to look at option A, treatment A, and to list the pros and cons of doing treatment A, but you've got to neutralize it, which means they've got to be equal. So if you feel like it sounds that there's more good things about option A, well, you've got to come up with more cons to option A until you feel that, you know what, there's just as many benefits as there is drawbacks to doing option A. Then you've got to do that exact same thing with option B. So if now you look at treatment B option, what are the benefits and drawbacks of that? And you keep coming up with benefits and drawbacks until they're equal, until you feel like, you know what, option B, there's just as many good things as there is bad things to doing option B. Once you've neutralized the pros and cons of option B and option A, then those 2 options need to be neutralized, that it's equal for you. That, you know what, regardless of whether I do option A or whether I do option B, you've now done the work to recognize that, you know, there's just as many good things of doing option A, but there's also just as many good things of doing option B, and there's just as many bad things about both options. Now you've done the first step, which is you've taken away the emotion out of the decision, because you've neutralized and recognized that they're both beneficial and have their drawbacks in equal amounts. Now you go to the next step of the decision-making protocol, which is now you internalize. As I mentioned before, you've got to increase your level of self-awareness and trust that your body's going to guide you as to what just feels right. What feels like the right option for you at this moment of your life? Is it option A? Or is it option B? You're only going to be able to really get to this level of internalization when you've neutralized the emotions around both options. And then once you listen, take a few days to sort of meditate on it, pray on it, look for some signs, go for a walk, clear your head, and then it's going to come to you one day where it's just option A just feels right for me right now. Whether it doesn't make sense to anybody else on the outside, it's what feels right for you. As we mentioned before, as you take ownership that you are the expert and you know at all times what your body needs. And then really, once you've internalized it and you've come up with what feels right for you, then really the third step is to execute, is to make that decision and go all in into that option, whether it's option A or option B. So I hope that this is going to help some of you that are dealing with this difficulty right now regarding treatment options. And as I mentioned, you can really apply this decision-making protocol to any decision that you're having a challenge with. So just to summarize it again, you neutralize the pros and cons, the benefits and drawbacks of option A versus option B. You internalize what feels right for you at this moment. Again, it doesn't have to make sense. It just feels right. And then you execute by going all in whichever decision you feel is the right thing for you at that moment. I want to thank you again for your attention, and I look forward to seeing you at the next episode.